Nerfed TNT, new way to get music discs, overhaul the saddles, and much more. Hello there, Ray here. Let's check out all the new changes in today's new snapshot for Java Edition. This is 25W20A. And this snapshot includes the final big changes for this second drop of the year 2025. So after this, we're probably just going to see some smaller changes, mostly bug fixes, and then we're going to see the pre-releases, and then the release candidates, and then the full release, which will probably be sometime in June when most schools get out for the summertime. We got a new panorama for the next Minecraft update. You can see we're actually here in the overworld, and we got a big happy gas in the background. We also got a smaller gasling right here, which illustrates how you can take these guys through caves if they're big enough. And we also got a happy gas that is wearing the harness with one of the dried happy gas blocks down here. And as it turns further around, we can see there's a whole bunch of different happy gas here in this valley with some kind of steep cliff sides on the edges here. Kind of illustrate how you can easily traverse really hard terrain. And finally, when it turns all the way around, there's a dried gas block right here. You get a nice up close look at it. This panorama reminds me of the older classic panoramas, but what do you think of it? They added a new feature that we can craft saddles in the game of Minecraft. We just need 3 leather and 1 iron ingot. This will produce 1 saddle. And new players will learn about this recipe as it will be added in as a new recipe in their crafting table. As soon as they pick up some leather, you can see it's already trying to explain how to make a saddle. Now, the reason why they probably made saddles craftable is for the similar reason now that we have the harnesses that are also craftable. And since we already have other good transportation methods like elytra, it doesn't really seem like there needs to be a reason to actually put the traveling with like horses stuck behind actually finding a saddle, which you normally have to do from looting chests. But now that we can craft saddles instead of finding them from chests, they actually removed it from certain lootable chests throughout the game, including monster spawners, ancient cities, desert pyramids, jungle pyramids, and the stronghold altars, which means you'll still continue to find them in villages, as well as nether fortresses, bastions, and end cities. But now when you come to these structures and loot their chest, instead of having saddles, they're going to have between 1 and 5 leather. So you can then combine that with iron to make your own saddle. Now I'm a bit torn that they're coming out with a craftable saddle. A saddle was one of the OG items back in the day that you would have to find inside of chest. And the other one was golden apples, but they made golden apples craftable, but saddles were still not craftable, so it was still cool to come across them. But since then, we have a lot more mobs that can have saddles placed onto them, so it makes sense that they would change it to make it more easy for people to actually obtain and use these other mobs as transportation. By doing this, it makes it less likely for people to just skip these mobs and try to go straight for an elytra. And the feature of shearing off harnesses from happy gas can now work on mobs of any type of equipment. So we can remove like saddles from mobs, also carpets from llamas, as well as horse armor from horses. And every time you use the shears, it will do 1 durability. Now if somebody is riding the mob, then they cannot use shears to remove any of its gear. This just prevents people from doing some kind of PvP tactic of removing somebody's saddle so it'd kick them off of their mob. Although that could be kind of a fun tactic in PvP. But you won't be able to remove chests from mules. If you right click with shears, you'll just right it, and crouching while using shears won't work on the mobs. As you can see, we just opened the mule's container by doing this, and you can see it also doesn't work on the horse. You just open up the inventory. So I guess you still gotta kill the mule in order to get your chest back. Now we can still use dispensers to put saddles onto mobs, and this is what I used when I made my horse saddle sorter, but we weren't able to automatically remove the saddle, so we needed a player here to actually drop it. Although we don't need this anymore to sort saddles since we now have allays, but even if we would try to automatically remove a saddle from a mob using dispensers, it doesn't actually work. I'm not quite sure why they restrict some types of automation like this. I think it would be cool to do any type of these automations, even if they're just used in some edge cases. But maybe there's a good reason for this. If you guys think of something, let me know. One thing that I thought of is you could actually come in and automatically remove the saddles from striders that have a rare chance of spawning a zombified piglin that is holding a warped fungus on a stick. You can see it is pretty rare. Out of all those, we only got 1 of them. But if I would try to use the shears on these guys, it's not going to work because there's currently a rider. But if we would like suffocate the rider off of it, then we could come in and automatically remove the saddles, and we could actually get a saddle farm from these guys rather than having to kill them. But now that saddles are craftable, there's really no reason for this. Now Ravagers also kind of have like saddles on them, as the different types of illagers can ride on top of them. You cannot use shears to remove their saddles, but you can still get them as a drop when you kill them. And this used to be the old way of making a saddle farm in Minecraft. So to farm saddles, we just need a hoglin farm plus a iron golem farm. What do you think of all these changes to saddles? Remember this bug where you could ride a horse and then dismount it and it gets stuck in the constant rearing up position? Well, that bug is finally fixed today. Only you can leave your like on the video, so don't forget. This update also came out with some new music tracks for different environments. So we got some new ones for the Cherry Grove biome, forest, desert, grove, as well as lush cave biomes. And they have some cool names. They're called Below and Above, Broken Clocks, Fireflies, Lily Pad, and O's Piano. And these same songs are also added into the menu songs that can play on rotation. Now when you reflect a fireball back to a ghast, not only will you get the advancement, but you also get a new item in the game, and that is this new music disc. Look at this thing, it looks crazy. It is called Tears, and it's by Amos Rode. Let's go ahead and listen to it. Wow, a really nice music. What did you think of it? I don't listen to music in real life, but I definitely enjoyed it. The beginning part was my favorite, maybe just because of all the gas noises. Now we also got more options when it comes to music. If we go over here into our settings, and we go into our music and sound settings, we have two new settings here. This one's called Show Music Toaster. It's currently off. You can turn this to on. It says displays a toaster whenever a song starts playing. The same toast will constantly display in the in-game pause menu while a song is playing. We also have this one which is called Music Frequency. It's set to default. Changes how frequent the music plays while in game. So we can set this to frequent, constant, or default. One of the reasons why I don't normally play Minecraft music is because it plays so inconsistently, and whenever making a video or streaming, I instead play Minecraft music that I just have on a playlist so it's consistent. So we'll see how consistent this is now. Let's go ahead and turn up the music as I normally have it turned off. Oh, there it is. That's pretty cool. So the toaster in the top left, it pops up for a brief moment so you can read it. If you want to read it more, you can hit the pause menu, where not only the music will continue to play now, but you can also read the toaster up here, which you can see is currently playing the watch song. And if we would play a music disc while the game music and sound is being played, you can see they do both play at the same time as well. So these two settings only apply to the actual in-game music and not the music disc. And even when you hop over to the main menu, it will also pop up in the top left every time it switches to a new music. And if you're newer, join as a subscriber. We got another big change to TNT today. So for the majority of Minecraft history, when TNT would explode in water, it would destroy stuff like item frames, paintings, armor stands, and even items, since these things were all considered entities similar to mobs and it would damage them. As TNT in water will only prevent it from destroying blocks but not damaging entities. But with the 1.21.1 update, now it will actually come in and not do any damage to paintings, item frames, and even items, but it'll still damage nearby mobs. This made it useful to use TNT near things that were dropping items, such as tree farms, as you could destroy the tree, but you wouldn't have to worry about actually destroying the items. This is because despite it seeming like TNT cannot destroy any blocks near it while it's in water, the way the game calculates how the TNT damage is put outwards is from the center. So long as the center of the TNT is outside the water, you can see it is able to destroy blocks such as like this trapdoor here. And as long as just a piece of the TNT is still in water, like this backside over here, it's unable to destroy the items that it just dropped. So with today's change, it will destroy items as well as armor stands. The item that was here got destroyed as well as the armor stand, but the item frame and the painting are saved. This is probably to make TNT more balanced, especially since we got TNT dupers, where it would come in and get a free amount of TNT so we can continue to destroy blocks without having to worry about them destroying their items. Now it's much more balanced. If it's destroying blocks, there's a chance of it destroying the items, so you can't just get it off of it. Now luckily when I designed my tree farms, I did not design them with this in mind because I knew it was probably going to be removed. And unlike in the past where there was a lot of farms that used the destroying of blocks, there's not so many nowadays. And I do have a new tree farm which can do almost every type of tree and mushroom in the game, so look forward to that video soon. With last week's changes to arrows, it was difficult to understand exactly what they changed, but we figured it out. So it has to do with how close you can be to an entity beside you before the arrow will actually hit it. So there's this kind of like margin of error, where in previous versions, if you would get close to a zombie being within 1/3 of a block, the arrow would immediately just snap and damage the zombie rather than zipping by it. But now there is a margin of 0. The first 2 game ticks, the arrow goes flying through the air. This allows you to shoot really close to other entities without actually hitting them. So if your teammates keep sticking their head in front of you while you're trying to shoot beyond them, it will no longer automatically just snap and hit them, but rather it will fly right beside them. This also means you can use your friends as kind of a human shield, as you can shoot past your little barrier here, but anybody that's trying to shoot back at you, their arrows are going to be in the game longer than 2 game ticks, meaning that they're going to snap and hit the husk that's on the side rather than going right past it like yours are. So definitely use this to your advantage when you're doing PvP or even when you're fighting against like a skeleton. The Snapshot also came out with a new data pack version related to all of its changes. They did quite a few changes related to the dialogue to make it overall more simple. There's a whole bunch of customizations that people can do for these dialogue screens. And with it, gas also got a flying attribute, meaning that you can change how fast you want your gas to fly around in your world. It also came with the different components needed in order to make things that can be sheared off of different entities for like people that want to make custom mods. And other bugs that were fixed today include problems with the fog that they added in last week, making stuff not render correctly, as well as fixing stuff related to songs not playing correctly, including one crash that would occur if you made a custom world with too many layers of something. I will be doing more testing of these changes over at my Twitch live stream, so if you guys have any further questions, let me know, and I hope to see you guys all over there. Bye bye!